A new study has revealed human sperm counts are falling rapidly and the rate of decline is accelerating. Joining us live is Dr. Luke Rombauts, the Research Director of Monash IVF and President of the Fertility Society of Australia and New Zealand. Doctor, thank you for your time. Tell us a bit about this study. Just how dramatic has the drop in sperm count been in recent decades?
It's been quite dramatic. I mean, it's not the first study that points out that men's semen quality is declining, and certainly the sperm count has been declining. But it's a really thorough study. It's published in one of the top journals in our sort of discipline, and so you could expect it to be heavily scrutinised. And what it shows is that in the last 40 years, if you look at all the studies that have been published, that the sperm count is about halved. It's fair to say that our sperm counts are still within the normal range, but if this trend continues, then we could be in a spot of trouble.
So why is this happening, Doctor? What are we doing wrong?
That's the good question, isn't it? It's unclear. The authors don't really say, but there's presumably a number of factors that may be at play. One of them that has been hypothesized is that if you allow men that are already infertile to have infertility treatment like IVF, and they then will have children, then of course we're going to have a growing problem with children that will also have fertility issues. But that, interestingly, hasn't really been shown. In actual fact, Monash IVF and others have published a recent study to show that children born from IVF treatment and ICSI, that they have actually normal sperm count. So that may not be the key reason. But if we look at the study, they show that it was mainly countries in Europe, Northern America and Australia, and not so much Africa and Asia that seem to have the issue. Then presumably it must be lifestyle factors. It must be potentially environmental toxicants like pesticides and other things. And we know that in North America and sadly also in Australia that obesity is a really big problem. And it's well known that obesity does lead to a whole range of health issues, including a lower sperm count.
I saw in one report, one expert was quoted saying that it's possible that in 20 years, most men won't be able to conceive naturally. I mean, that sounds pretty alarming to me. Is it being a bit dramatic to suggest that this could be a threat to mankind's survival?
Yes, I mean, it is a bit alarmist. I mean, one of the problems that we are still grappling with, what is the lowest sperm count that's still fertile? We have set sort of a particular number, which is 15 million sperm per milliliter, but no one knows whether that really is the cutoff. So that's one issue. But certainly, look, I have to agree that the evidence is definitely there that in those developed countries, the trend is downwards. And unless we find ways of flattening that curve out, we could, over time, be in trouble.
And are we seeing a similar impact on women's fertility? Is there evidence that women are losing eggs at a similar rate?
I think the key worrying trend in women is that for a variety of societal reasons, women are delaying to have their families. So they are older when they start their families. And that's well known for a long, long time to be obviously a real problem. And so that is why we're seeing a growing number of women having to resort to IVF treatment because they get older by the time that they want to start their families.
I'm sure we all know some beautiful IVF babies. I'm sure we all have some in our lives. What proportion of children born these days do need the help of IVF to actually get them into this world?
So we usually quote about 1 in 20, I think was the latest statistics roughly. So that means there's definitely one child in every classroom. And it's wonderful, you know, in my job that I can help a lot of couples achieve a baby when they otherwise wouldn't. But obviously we try through the Fertility Society of Australia and New Zealand to emphasise that healthy lifestyle, starting your families early are the best way to stay away from doctors like myself.
And is it mainly older couples that you are seeing, or are you seeing an increase in younger couples coming to you for help?
There are other trends. We certainly see more women who are single, who have tried to partner and unfortunately have remained unsuccessful. So we see more women who are single wanting to become a mother. We see also a lot more same-sex couples, both male and female, wanting to start families. So those are the quite dramatic trends that we see over the last 5 years.
Dr. Luke Rombauts, really appreciate you joining us to bring us up to date with the news from that study and to give us some insights into your profession. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.